This video is proudly brought to you by the Wildlife Diversity Program at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
Every year, birds busy themselves building nests, laying eggs, and feeding their young. But occasionally something goes wrong, and you find nestlings on the ground or a nest that has been knocked out of a tree. Fortunately, it's a simple process to reunite nesting birds and their young. This mockingbird nest was knocked out of a tree in our backyard after a particularly strong storm. When you find unprotected nestlings, be sure to put away household pets. Curious cats and dogs are perceived as a threat by nesting birds. In our case, these mockingbird chicks aren't fully feathered, and they aren't aggressively trying to fly away, so we know they aren't ready to leave the nest just yet. If the nest is still intact and you can access it, simply place the chicks back in the nest. Don't worry about touching the birds. It's not true that the smell of your hands will cause the nest to be abandoned. If you can't find the nest, or if it is out of reach or was destroyed, you can make a temporary replacement nest. You'll need a hanging basket and some natural materials like mulch, leaves, or moss. Fill the hanging basket so that the materials come up to the edge of the basket. This way, as the chicks get older and begin to explore their nest, they won't fall between the nest and the walls of the basket. Be sure to leave space in the middle to fit the chicks. If you have the nest, place the nest into the hanging basket. Make sure to fill in the gaps with natural materials to stabilize the basket, support the nest, and prevent the chicks from falling into the deep basket as they explore their world. Find a hanging spot as close to the original nest as possible, and hang the basket from a sturdy hook or a branch. When the parents return, there's a good chance they'll find the new nest, especially if the nestlings are making lots of noise. But resist the urge to babysit too closely. You want the adults to feel comfortable investigating, and they can't do that if you're constantly peeking into the nest. The adults may not return immediately, and when they do, they probably won't stay very long. In our case, the adults watched the entire procedure and inspected our handiwork within a few hours. Not all bird species are so bold, so be patient. Trust that their nesting instinct will continue and let them do what they do best. They may even have a thing or two to say about your handiwork.